Join Joe, John, and Jim as they discuss the biggest stories in the world of sports.
You put them all together, it makes a nice package, right?
Get ready
for passionate and intelligent conversation about the biggest issues and personalities in sports.
It's unscripted.
Somehow got mono. God knows who he was making out with.
Some people call him dirty. I like to call him creative.
It's unfiltered.
I'm going to need another beer soon.
And I said, well, hold, you're making my point, right?
My thoughts are I'm going to call my therapist after the show is what I'm going to do.
All right, what's up, Bean Apple fans? Back again, Joe, John, and Jim. Getting ready to preview and predict the outcome of the Week 15 games to come. We got the Patriots against the Dolphins in a must-win game to remain in the AFC playoff hunt. We've got the Giants coming off of that abysmal game that they just played, trailing Washington now and trying to hold on to that division lead. So another must win for the Giants, must win for the Patriots. We'll break down the Jets game against the Rams out in sunny LA, where the question is, are they going to score any points against that Rams defense? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it and break it down. So how you guys doing? How's your week going?
Good so far. We're getting ready for a blizzard that Jim's sending up to me right now, and should be an interesting next 24 hours.
Yeah, you got a couple inches on the ground already, and the wind's whipping. So hopefully it stays windy and just blows it around and makes a mess. But they're calling for 1 foot to 1.5 foot, so through the night tonight. So we'll see what that looks like.
Ooh, God, do I miss that?
Oh, yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Man.
Reason to move to Florida.
Yeah, well, it's just been raining and miserable here all day today. So, but I'll take that over snow every day of the week, and twice.
I'll take snow.
Yeah. Nope. So, all right. So we're going to break it down. So please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, set it to all, get all of our notifications. Please comment, throw your thoughts in as we go. And please make sure you stop over on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, go over to YouTube. Definitely subscribe, hit the like button, and please share it on YouTube or share the YouTube channel on Facebook with all your friends, all your family, please. Just hit that little share button. You don't have to say anything. Just get it out there and just blow people up with it and help us grow because we need you. So without further ado, John, you want to take it away with some Patriots, Dolphins, AFC East battle?
I sure will. So first off, I'm going to predict the score. I want to start off my prediction. Jim's already smirking because he already knows. Patriots 21, Miami 20.
Oh,
that's what I'm predicting it's going to be. It's going to be a close one, a little barn burner. I think the Pats are going to come through at the very end. And what's up, Mucker? And no, I didn't say the F word. I said muck, by the way. So lately the Patriots don't play that well down in Miami. We won last year. We swept Miami last year. But looking at the playoff race right now for the AFC, and then I'll kind of get to the game. Right now, Patriots are 10th at 6-7. So we still need to jump the Vegas Raiders and somehow Baltimore and Miami. So even if we get to 9, we still need to jump 2 more teams. So this is an absolute must-win for the New England Patriots. These are the games that Bill usually wins in the last 20-plus years. Usually wins the ones he has to. It's going to be a tough game, you know. Brian Rhodes down there is no stranger to New England, considering he was with New England for a while. So, going to be a tough one. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, the Pats are going to really put a rush on Tua. It looks like Gesicki hasn't practiced yet, his tight end, and he's been in love with him so far. So that'd be a huge hit. Yeah. Running backs are still kind of running back by committee in Miami with all the kind of issues they're having with them. So my guess is you're going to see Devontae Parker bottled up. And if there's no Gesicki, put some pressure on Tua. make him make some mistakes, even though he only made one last week against Kansas City. He had a good game against Kansas City, really did. But we need this one, and this is the only way. And my hope and trust in Bill is going to be that we come up with a victory. And let's hope Cam can do something passing. I mean, that's a tough Miami D, very tough front defensive line and linebackers down there, and trying to establish a potent running game is going to be a little tough. So I think they're going to do kind of the same thing New England plans on doing, putting some pressure on them. Hopefully the Patriots can get that running game going with Sony and Harris, and God, get James White involved, please. Please get James White. He's, to me, the best offensive player. But and who knows? Let's see if we'll see some N'Keal Harry this week. I'm going to predict Myers is going to be the receiving king this week, and we'll go from there. But
Myers, huh?
Yeah.
Think he's going to have a bounce back?
That's what I think he's going to do. And honestly, N'Keal Harry, God, I just hope for something other than, 4 targets and 2 receptions for 30 yards. I don't understand how somebody that big can't get any separation. I don't understand it.
Right.
I mean, he's not much smaller than DK Metcalf. He really isn't. If you look at size-wise, he's pretty similar. I'm not saying he's as big as DK, but he's pretty damn close. And I mean, never mind speed. How does he not get separation? I don't get it. He should just be able to, run through these cornerbacks that weigh, 195 pounds. I don't get it. I truly don't understand it. So still hoping for a bounce back for the last 3 games for Harry, but we'll see. We'll see. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I look at last week, Miami versus Kansas City, and what they really gave them all they can handle, right? I mean, granted, Mahomes had 3 turnovers, right, and tip balls and stuff like that, but I mean, it was a 1-score game, right? It was a 6-point game. Chiefs didn't even cover the spread. So I look at the Pats going against Miami, and if Miami plays that same kind of game, and knowing what I've seen out of the Pats the last couple of weeks or most of the season, again, it's almost like I'm just hitting repeat on my comments here, but I don't see the Pats beating the Dolphins. We got a Dolphin fan out there in Florida. With all the injuries. So actually, I didn't think about that. Yes, I do know that the Dolphins have, I don't think, any running backs, right? Everybody's on the IR or COVID or something. So that could help you. But even so, last week against Kansas City, I don't think they had maybe more than one and still gave them a fight. So I think I don't think you guys beat Miami. 21-20. I don't think it's a 1-point game either. I think it's going to be more than that. But I have Miami winning the game. I don't have a score yet, but I don't think I don't think the Pats beat Miami. No.
So Joe, if you can put that quote up, the first one by Shaney there. That's why I said they're going to put pressure on Tua. Look what happened to Herbert, number 1 offense or whatever it was, number 3, and they did absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be another similar type game where they're going to throw everything at Tua. And then another good point, the last Chiefs win by more than 1 score was the Jets game. So it's not like the Chiefs are destroying everybody this year. I mean, it was probably the first time Mahomes has thrown 3 interceptions in a game. I think it was, but still. So again, put the pressure on Tua, make Tua be the one to beat you. And I love Tua. I'm a huge SEC guy. So is my brother. We go back and forth on Facebook about SEC versus Big 12 all the time. I think Tua is going to be a really good NFL quarterback, but at the same time, all you got to do is take him out, and how else are they going to score? Now, my fear would be, to be quite honest, is if, like, say they're shutting him down the first half, they bring in Fitzmagic, because Fitz throws against us very friggin' well. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's a passer. Who knows? Maybe there'll be some swapping out tomorrow. I mean, I seriously doubt it unless Tua is totally struggling and they're not doing anything, which is kind of what I'm hoping and predicting. But unless we see like Fitzmagic come in the second half, I see us taking care of Miami.
I mean, I guess you got to look at, Mahomes with the turnovers. Why did he have the turnovers? Was it the defense that was in his face and rattling him and causing him to maybe throw early? And then I think about Cam, and if they do that to Cam, he does that without a lot of pressure. So if Miami dials it up and puts the same kind of pressure and makes him as uncomfortable as he did Mahomes, then what's Cam going to do? Is Cam going to take off and run? I don't know, maybe. But I think if what they were able to do to Mahomes, if they could do the same thing to Cam, Cam's not going to be as successful as Mahomes was, even though he did throw 3 INTs.
Mm-hmm. I will say this about the Kansas City game last week, and not to get too off the beaten path, but to me, watching Kansas City last week, and I even told my son this during the game, I was like, they're playing like nonchalant, kind of cocky, like we can win regardless. At least that's how I looked at it. I mean,
Right.
Just the way they were playing, it was kind of like, okay, we'll kind of score when we need to. And who knows? Maybe I'm way off. Maybe I'm way off.
No,
But
I agree with you. You're talking
it's-
about KC, right?
Yeah.
I think KC does that. They're nonchalant and they figure, I'll just throw 7 touchdowns in the second half if we fall behind. But you
Right.
can't rely on that. I mean,
Yeah.
last year they would fall behind by 21, 28, like it was street football. And
Right.
that at some point is gonna their luck is gonna run out. You can't rely on being able to come back and Spagnola being able to dial it up and stop the other team when you get down that deep. So I agree with you. I think they do kind of are nonchalant and cocky and arrogant and think we're the defending champs and we can beat anybody. But, people got to put them to the test and see what they can do.
Yeah. We used to have a team like that.
Yeah.
So sad.
Remember that?
God, I do. It was just a short time ago, too, Jim. Just a short time ago.
Back to reality.
Yeah.
Back to reality. Yeah. So this is, 2.5 point favorites for the Dolphins. So Vegas isn't overly confident in this game.
Nope.
Which, how can you be? I mean, you've seen 2 completely different Patriots teams the last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So, who's going to show up? I don't know. I mean, Cam is Cam. I mean, he looks like he's okay. They were talking about, some minor injuries that he's dealing with, but it looks like okay. Same with Harris, who left the game, but he's practicing fully. So with the back injury, so that's good.
That's huge. Absolutely
he needs to get rolling. Those games where he was just, putting up 100 or close to 100 yards, they were winning games. That was your hot streak.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of went away from that, and they started getting your boy James White more involved and mixing things up. But Harris is your lead back. He's got to be the lead. You've got to give him 20 carries a game to take the pressure off Cam. Because Cam can't throw the ball. I don't know what it is, but he's not throwing like he was. So you've got to have a 20 carry guy there, and Harris is your guy. He's got to be the guy that does it to keep that defense honest and give Cam something. You got to give him something. But yeah, Gesicki being hurt, that's gonna be if he doesn't play, that's gonna hurt them a lot. Devontae Parker is also questionable.
Yeah.
So that's another big hit there. Dina over here says that they have the dangerous DeAndre Washington in the backfield. I'm glad she laughed at the end of that.
I always hear about DeAndre. Oh, that's different DeAndre.
That's a different one. Yeah. So I thought she was joking, and I thought to myself, Dina said a very funny joke the other day, and that
Yes,
little Ron Burgundy there for everyone. So, but no, I actually on the other side of that, I think you're focusing on the wrong guy back there. I don't know if it's going to be DeAndre Washington, but Lynn Bowden had a pretty good week last week, and he qualifies as a wide receiver and a running back right now. So good game catching and running last week. And if Gesicki's out and Devontae Parker are out as well, he's going to have a big game. So that's my prediction. That's my prediction.
Big game as in
he's
what?
Go
4 and 56.
I
mean, look what they did to Keenan Allen. Look what they do to these wide receivers. They shut him down. DeAndre Hopkins shut him down. So I don't see any receiver having a big game. I mean, I think Gesicki would be their biggest threat. And I was going to bring this up and say it, but someone already beat me to it. And Edelman might be back because he did practice today.
Really?
Bring him back already.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't think he would either, but I mean, just the fact that he's on the field already is huge. And man, I'll tell you what, they could use him. Oh God, could they use him right now?
God, yeah,
They could.
No doubt.
Justin, very good point.
Yeah, actually, we talked about that last show, right, or a couple shows ago. Who is the? You think about the couple teams that are. Who is it definitely going to go through this year? Kansas City is the easy answer, right? We talked about Buffalo. We talked about the Rams maybe being in there, right? Who are the teams that are going to be the ones that you have to beat to get in, and that you don't want to face at the end there, right? Who's that? Who are those teams? Green Bay, right?
I'd say Green Bay in the NFC. My God, they look. No. I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't look 37, and I think he's making them eat shit this year because of them drafting a quarterback.
Yeah,
I truly do. He's coming out with a chip on his shoulder. He's not with Danica anymore, so he can focus on football again. Yeah. And he is just coming out, and they know he's targeting Adams. It's almost like watching Thomas last year in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. They know he's throwing it to him, but then they throw in one of the 3 tight ends for a touchdown. And what's his name? Toyin, I think, has a touchdown the last 4 or 5 games for them. Yeah. So they know that's coming. But Adams, and once they get Jones running, because Jones is coming back as well. I mean, he came back last week. So once they get him rolling, I'm telling you, Green Bay is going to be with I mean, I think they're going to run through the NFC, but I'm with Shane. I mean, everything runs through Kansas City. Yeah. It just does.
In the AFC, yeah. Imagine if they didn't draft Love and took like Justin Jefferson or somebody like that in Green Bay.
Give me
Could you imagine that? Oh, they'd be unstoppable. Yeah. Unstoppable. So I'm sorry, reading through the comments as we're going here, and Giants Zone, Jacob dropped in for you, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, I was going to get to that in a little while, but yeah, thanks,
Jacob. Jacob, I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you or anything. We're not into Giants yet, but that one, I couldn't let that.
Yeah. It was one bad game. I mean,
one bad game.
A couple weeks ago, when Jacob was all about how great the Giants were and an unstoppable run to the Super Bowl, and now we saw.
See,
how fast the mighty fall. So
no, one bad game. Come on.
Anyway, but yeah, even the matchup predictor is close, and it actually gives New England a 51% chance of winning this game. So I don't think anybody can figure this out.
You can't figure out the Pats.
21-20.
You bet on them, they lose. You bet against them, they win. Come on.
Yeah.
21-20 equals 51%. New math. Common Core.
Yeah, and a 41-point over-under, which is extremely low.
I didn't even know that, but here we go.
I'm definitely saying under because what I don't know if it was Shaney that said it or you said it, that if they're going to key on Tua and shut down Miami's offense and their defense is going to shut down Cam and the Pats, was it going to be 13-10? I mean, it's probably going to be a low-scoring game. Yeah. Which team is really going to light up the other team? Neither. So I'm saying definitely under, and I'll go with 13-10 Miami. How about that?
That's
mark it down. Let me get a pen. Hold on.
I like that.
No need to. It's in the vault, Jim. It's in the vault.
All right. 13-10.
13-10. I'm going to say 17-14 Dolphins in this one. I think there'll be a defensive. I think there's going to be a pick six from Cam on the Dolphin side, touchdown from Tua, and probably a garbage time for the Patriots to get to 14. But I think you'll go into the fourth quarter. It'll be 14-7, and it'll end up 17-14. So
I love it when you guys both pick against the Pats because this is when they win. Mm-hmm. It's always when they win.
Yeah, I think that actually right there, Fitzmagic coming in the fourth quarter to win the game. I think
that's my fear. That's my fear is if Tua not finishing the game.
If Tua is getting locked down throughout the game, then they pull Fitzmagic because they have to win this game.
Oh, so you're saying 17-14. I'm saying 10-10, and Magic gets them down the field, kick the field goal, winner.
Look at that. Me and Dina.
Wow, you and Dina got the same score.
We're just channeling. We got the same chi going on right now. It just
wow.
And Jacob,
Giants fan, has the
Pats. Come on, Giants. The Giants aren't up yet, Jacob. You got to predict this.
He's got he said, I think the Pats win this one, 21-14.
Oh, there it is. Oh, sorry. He gave the score for the Giants game up above. You got to wait till we get to the Giants game. We're not there yet. So
I'm seeing more Patriots, though. Shaney's saying 21-11. John McCann is saying 28-24. Keep them coming. Let's see this here. Fitzmagic, 3 interceptions open today. That's a very true statement.
28-24 Pats. Man, if that game gets that high, that's going to be a fun one to watch if it actually makes it there. But I don't know if that seems like a stretch at this point. But then again, you never know. Like, if the San Diego Patriots show up, it could be. If the Los Angeles why do I keep calling them San Diego?
I don't know. I was like, who's that?
If the Charger Patriots team shows up, then it's a high scoring game. If the Rams Patriots show up, they don't show up. Yeah. So
all right. So we got 2 of us got Miami and 1 has the Pats, right?
So that means 2 will be wrong. I will be right.
Maybe.
I like that. I like it.
We'll see. I'm rooting for you. I hope I'm wrong in this. Sorry, Dina. I know that you're a fan, but I need the Patriots to stay competitive because I can't have Bill dropping a shit sandwich on the Jets in Week 17. So
that's a good one. Yeah.
I just can't. I can't have it. So go Patriots. Pull this one off. We'll see what happens. So
did you see the last comment?
That's good. Triple overtime. Maybe triple overtime. Is that 7 quarters?
I'm laughing because it's true.
That could be. They could score 28 on defense before the offense scores 28.
Yeah, that would probably happen.
Especially if they run into the line like last week.
Yeah.
First and goal, second and goal, third and goal, fourth and goal. Nothing.
Don't get me going on that.
Same play.
Cam is still running into the lineman on 5th down. He's like, "What are you doing? What everybody?"
He might as well just fumbled it like Sanchez.
I just didn't get it. I didn't understand that.
That was terrible, and it was so slow too. It wasn't even like
he was walking. Yeah,
it was like, well, maybe I'll go, maybe I'll stand. Oh, it was. Yeah. Oh God, it was bad. It was super bad. So, all right. So that's the predictions. Patriots lose in a low-scoring, tight game. Is I think overall what we're talking about. And there we go. 2 special touchdowns by the Pats.
I like it. Picking off Tua, pressure on Tua, or running back for. I mean, our punt return game has been great lately. It really has with old Gunner. So.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And Giant Zone, the reason you can't see the comments is because they're the ones you can't. You're the only person on YouTube that's commenting. Everything else is coming in from Facebook. So if you want to jump on if you want to search for the Bean Apple page on Facebook, you should be able to see the comments.
Thanks for coming on YouTube.
That's perfect.
Yes.
Yep. Hey,
tell your friends. Tell your friends to jump on with you.
Yeah,
because this is the greatest show, the greatest rivalry show on YouTube. I looked it up; it's statistically proven. So spread the word everywhere. Yeah. All right. So with that, let's talk about the greatest team in this rivalry, the New York Jets. Right?
Yeah. I like how they made the intro. Right, Giant Stadium, Jets. In the end zone. What?
Because you always call it Giant Stadium, it doesn't need the label. So anyway, but yeah. So I can't imagine what's going to happen this week. But this is the first week in a while that I'm not worried about anything possibly going wrong in this game. I can't see the Jets even scoring in this game. The Rams defense is very good. Right, so there's no denying that, and this might come to a surprise to some fans out there, but the Jets offense is actually pretty bad statistically. I had to look it up, so I wasn't sure, but the numbers do back up everything you see on TV. They're really, really bad. So,
Jets pay the rent there. That's good.
let's see. So I was looking it up. So the Jets passing yards are 186 a game. And the Rams are giving up defensively 213 yards a game. So the Rams are a very good defense, and they're holding teams to 213 yards. The Jets can only get to 186 yards. So they're not even close to pushing their average. So this game, and the rushing yards allowed, they only give up 94 rushing yards a game. And that's like the only place the Jets have had any kind of success is in the running game. And they're only giving up 94 yards. The Jets are averaging 103 yards a game somehow. I have no idea how, but they are. So this is going to be an interesting one. The line has now slid to 17 points for the Rams. 17 points, and that's still too low. It's too low.
People are betting out with zero fair.
Yeah.
Zero fair.
It's insane. So I like how Adam Gase cut Castillo this week after his 3 missed field goals. The next sacrificial lamb in the Jets season was him. Like, he was the reason he missed 3 field goals in 1 quarter. He's the reason we lost that game 40-3. Like, come on, Adam. Like, own it. At least he did come out today. So a couple of weeks ago, he said that he has failed Sam Darnold in his development. Right? We talked about that. So he came out today and said he has now failed all of the leadership of the team, Christopher Johnson and everybody. This is, not a surprise, right? Like, oh, wow, he failed the team. Like, everybody knows that, and he talks about how disappointing it is to let Christopher Johnson down. But, John, you talk about, like, he's going to come back next year. He's saying his goodbyes right now. I mean, you come out here and you say you're failing your boss, you're failing at your job, you failed to develop your quarterback. Just
He's owning it, though, Joe. That's what they're going to like. He's coming out. He's owning it. Hey, let's keep giving this guy a chance. Again, I don't think that. I'm just hoping it because it will make the Jets' next couple seasons that much better. For me, anyways, and probably Jim and everybody else who doesn't like the Jets. I mean, what did they already have a talk with them and say, look, we're not bringing you back next year, so kind of do what you want, kind of say what you want to. It's just weird how it's coming out now in week 15. Normally you start hearing this halfway through the season, but I mean, the season's done for them, and it has been. So now he's going to come out and say it. What's the motive behind it? What's the motive? He's owning it. He's owning it in public. So when they do keep him, people aren't so pissed off. Well, hey, he said that he sucked. He said that they didn't give him a chance, or he didn't give the team a chance because of his failures. Hey, let's keep him. He's an honest guy. High integrity, Joe. What do you want in a leader? Integrity, my friend.
You do want integrity.
Mr. Gase has it.
You know what else you want in a leader? Competence.
Well, let's not go there. I'm just talking about integrity.
Have that. So you can't bring him back. There's absolutely no way Trevor Lawrence comes out if he is still the coach the second day after the season ends. Like, if Tuesday rolls around and he's still the coach of the Jets, why would you declare for the draft? Like, you can't. You're going back to college or you're demanding a trade, something. Because why? As much as I want Trevor Lawrence on this team, I don't want him on this team if Adam Gase is the coach. It's not fair to anybody. Any football player alive, it's not fair to be on this team. So, and the Jets took another hit with losing Jordan Jenkins. He went to IR. So he was one of the better players on the defense, linebacker. So that hurts as well. I mean, it's just and Marcus May is dealing with an injury. He's questionable. He should play, but he's dinged up too. So you've got a team that now took another hit on defense, on an abysmal defense, and you've got an 0 and about to be 14 team Why are these guys even going to try? That's the thing is how
Job security, maybe, just to show that they're not giving up. I mean, something.
They didn't show that last week.
No, they didn't. But I mean, again, like we talked about,
the week before they didn't show that. Last week was
they
terrible.
don't want to lose. They don't want to lose at all. But they're going to, and they know it. I think you'll probably see a little bit of effort, but I mean, even a little bit of effort against the Rams this week. You're right. You're not going to see shit because they're going to absolutely demolish them. I mean, I almost feel bad for the Jets this week. I almost feel bad for them.
It's going to be bad, and they're talking about the Jets are like 50 or 60 points off of the worst all-time point differential, and if they lose by 40, which like that right there, Jacob says some pretty crazy stuff sometimes. Got to give him that. Mm-hmm. But this is actually not one of the craziest things he's ever said. Like, that score is actually very realistic, and it might be that by the third quarter, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So
the Jets will get 3. They get 3 on the first drive. In the first 3 minutes, they get 3 points. And then they go to sleep after that. Gates out. Well, I mean, like John said, I mean, it's therapeutic to get that stuff out when it's building up, right? So he says these things, and then maybe Douglas is about second chances and says, you know what? He feels for him. It was a heartfelt apology or whatever. And hey, let me see. Let me sign that extension. There you go. Hang around.
Well, no, he's still under contract for 2 years. So
I'm saying give him an extension. Give him an extension.
So you start your first year as the coach 0-7 before you start winning games, and then you start your second year 0-13. Seems like we're heading in the right direction.
Pretty good,
right?
So, well, where else can you go but up, right? Like you said.
Exactly. You said it before. Nowhere to go but up for him. I mean, just think if he wins 2 games, it's 2 more games that he won last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, they won 6 games last year.
Right. But I mean, next year, if they win 2 games, then it's 2 more than they won. I mean, that's going from 0 to 2 wins. That's huge.
Oh, God.
God, I hope this happens.
I mean, like you said, who are they going to bring in? If it is the guy from Clemson, like you said, right? If they do bring him in, if Trevor, because there's been some talk today about should Trevor spurn the Jets? Should he just stay in college one more year? Should he just say I'm never going to play for the Jets? He is a Manning family fan. And does he do what Eli did? Does he do and stay in college like Peyton did and play one more year and hope the Jets are not the number 1 pick again? Who knows?
Yeah, it's. But how would they not? I mean, you've seen, like Shaney said, like Crowder, Perriman, and Mims should be good enough.
Yes,
to do something with, but Sam Darnold can't do it. So if he's leading the charge again with Adam Gase calling the offense, what's going to change?
Right.
Nothing.
No, you're right. When those 3 guys are in there, and Herndon's in, and who's the other kid? Barrios. I mean, you have guys that can make plays or catch the ball, and he just can't hit them. And he's not trying to secure his job for the future, even though that's what he should be doing. He should be throwing on every audible out of whatever play they give you and try and hit the deep ball. I mean, what else? What do you got to lose? Just keep throwing. But, he's on his back more than anything. So, the line can't hold up. And,
Right. And the other half is Perriman. He's a free agent this year. He was just a 1-year gap filler, like we were talking about. Another one of those 1 year, come in and do it. So next year you lose him. And you have Crowder and Mims and Herndon, who God knows if he's ever going to bounce back to anything. So I don't know. He was supposed to be great. He's looked invisible most of the season. So I don't know. This team is just historically bad. I mean, it's hard to even wrap your mind around it because, like you said, there should be enough weapons there to at least be competitive. They're not even competitive. At least Jacksonville looks competitive, and they're playing with Mike Glennon as their quarterback, and they're competing in games. It doesn't – nothing about this team makes sense. It's just I don't know what it is. But to me, watching that Seattle game, that team just gave up is really all it was. And you still have 4 games at that point, and they just looked flat. They looked like they were done. Now, going into this game, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you. You know it. You have to fly all the way across country just to get the shit kicked out of you and then fly back home again. Like, how do you mentally get yourself up for a game like that? I can't even imagine knowing, like, hey, I'm going to go walk outside, piss on somebody in front of a gym, get the shit kicked out of me, and then walk back home. Because that's basically what is about to happen. It's terrible.
Right.
And then they got to play Cleveland, who looked ridiculous against Baltimore. Like, so
that was some game.
Yeah, and the fact that they lost that game now means they have to continue to play hard to keep their seeding up. So they're not going to back off on the Jets and go easy. So, so it's the next couple weeks are going to be really bad.
I mean, we said it last week. I mean, they had to fly out to Seattle, and I was saying just forfeit, don't even go out. And they went out and got their heads handed to them, right? Mm-hmm. Not competitive at all. I don't think there is another team out there this year that when you watch them, they look like they don't care, like the Jets do. There's nobody. Every other game, I don't care, Jacksonville, I don't care who, Atlanta, there's games where they come up and they push and they'll get a win. They do this. They're competitive. The Jets show you nothing. Yeah. There's not even – I just can't believe it. They keep saying the players want to win, and except for the Raider game, right, when they lost on the last play, right? They really, I think, wanted to win that game. But they were told not to.
That was the one that just took all the air out of the tires. Yeah. Like it was, you were right there, you were on the cusp, and then because imagine playing on that team. Like you got the Raiders, you've got them against the ropes. That game's all but won. Mm-hmm. You lose it, and then you look ahead of your schedule: Seattle, Rams, Browns.
Dead. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What are we doing here? But that's why you have a negative 210 point differential, which is unfucking believable. Negative 210. That's insane. The next
going for the record. They got to get one record.
The next worst team is Jacksonville, right? With their one win, they're only a negative 122. I say only with all due respect to them. But in comparison, it's a massive, massive difference. I mean, the Jets have almost given up 400 points and only scored – they haven't even broken 200 points yet. Jacksonville's at least scored 261. Like, it's just – the numbers – when you look at the numbers, it's insane. Like, the Jets are bad, and then you look at the numbers that they're putting up, and it's just shocking that these are professional football players. This is their job, and they're just terrible. I don't mind this idea though.
What do you think about him? Oklahoma?
Yeah, that's not. I wouldn't be too upset with that, but I'm hearing, John, what you were talking about a couple weeks ago. I heard who was it? Somebody else was talking about. Dabo Sweeney going to Jacksonville, and then basically Lawrence forcing a trade to Jacksonville to get back with him. That would be devastating. Devastating. So if that's going to happen, the Jets need to get on the ball and get him up in New York before that happens. That would be scary. So.
I don't think I would make a college coach the GM to, separate them. I mean, it's worked in Arizona. It's worked in San Francisco. I would probably leave that kind of combo alone. I mean, that's only for, guys like Bill Belichick and Andy Reid and coaches like that have tons of experience with that, because now you're probably making decisions based off your heart a little bit because you're just coming off of recruiting, and then you start recruiting players the same way. Separate the duties. What I would do is make sure they do like they did in Arizona. Make sure there's a good relationship prior to hiring a GM and a coach. Make sure whoever you hire as a GM that they are on board 100% with whatever coach, and make sure they get along. See how that dynamic is, because I'll tell you what, Arizona, they're not playing well right now, but they've constructed a pretty damn good team down there. So,
yeah. And the thing is with Joe Douglas is he signed a 6-year contract as the GM, and this is year 2 for him. So he signed the contract knowing what this team was. That's why it's a 6-year, because he knew what an undertaking it was going to be, and it was going to take a couple of years to get this thing going in the right direction. So I don't agree with a lot of what he did in the draft. Mekhi Becton looks really good. That's not a bad pick. Denzel Mims looks really good. After that, a lot of questions for me. The rest of the draft is very hit or miss. Like I said, with with James Morgan way too early to draft him on a team that has so many holes, and you're drafting a developmental quarterback in the 4th round. Asinine. But outside of the first 2, he did really good. And those are the ones you really have to hit. Like, after that, rounds 3 through 7, you're going to get some gems. You're mostly just going to get regular players. But rounds 1 and 2, you have to hit big or else forget about it. So, he did good.
Forget about it.
That's right. Forget about it.
So we'll see. I got to give him some time. Adam Gase, he sucks. He's just horrific. Everybody knows it. There's no way he's sticking around. But we'll see. This game, they're probably going to lose by 40. Add to that double-digit loss category for Adam Gase. Keep that going as the worst coach in history. I think it's all but done at this point. He's always going to be in that conversation. As even if they win a game, he's still going to go down as one of the worst coaches to ever coach for the Jets. So,
How about ever for the NFL?
If they go 0-16, he very well could be. I mean, it's bad. So, and now with this interim defensive coordinator, he did not impress anybody against Seattle. God knows what he's going to do against the Rams, but might be a little in over his head, which is probably why you don't fire Adam Gase, because who steps in for him?
No.
You don't have somebody that could step in and turn the defense around. You definitely don't have anybody that could step in as a head coach. So I think that's why they're riding this thing to the grave. But this is a good question, Jets question. What do you think if you're the Jets GM and you finish with the first pick, so you're getting the first pick in the 2nd round. You also have Seattle's pick that's going to be somewhere in the 25 to 28 range. What do you do?
Probably a punter.
Punter? No, we just drafted a punter last year. Don't be a dick.
I mean, there you go. Offensive line, right? I mean, he's got no chance back there. You got to shore up the line. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So aren't they talking about this being one of those years where it's very deep for offensive linemen? So if you get 25 through 28 from Seattle, go O-line and shit, the next pick in the 2nd round, I mean, if there's somebody that high on their board on the O-line, I mean, completely revamp that O-line. I mean, because I'm sorry, if you're going to draft Trevor Lawrence, in which they should have with one, he's going to need protection. So you know what? Like Shane said, 3 damn good receivers on that. Well, 3 decent receivers on that team. We don't know Mims's full capability yet, but I mean, he's shown signs of being a really good wide receiver.
Yeah.
So you have them in place. So now let's build up the O-line. I mean, who knows? Maybe a tight end. I don't know what tight ends are coming out. I haven't looked at any draft boards. And
there's basically 2. There's 2 tight ends. There's Pitts out of Florida, who's projected to go top 15, and then there's the other kid from Penn State, I believe. It's like Fear. I don't know how you say his name. Fearmouth or something like that. Those are the only 2 like top tight ends, but.
That's also risky. That is.
One of the 2 of them will be in a Patriots jersey next year.
God, I hope so.
I think they're going to grab one of them, but
grab something.
Maybe. Pass rush is actually, from what I read, pass rush is very thin this year. Like there's a couple of guys at the very top that are pretty decent, and then it drops off real quick. I like the idea of going.
Use their money then for a pass rusher. Pay for a known commodity then. You know,
I would rather do that, and then with the wide receiver class that we talked about coming out, for me, and there's also actually very good offensive linemen like Brandon Sheriff hits the market. Who else? There's a couple offensive linemen that are top guys that are going to be free agents. If you can grab one of those guys, I would also. Like I said, I would go Trevor Lawrence 1. With Seattle's pick, I would take the best offensive lineman available. Unless they're just wiped out, then don't reach for it because there's other holes everywhere. But if there's a good offensive lineman there at 26, grab him. And then I want Travis Etienne, the running back for Clemson, early in the 2nd, and pair the 2 of them up. A 1-2 punch there. You've got Mekhi Becton on one side, an offensive lineman on the other side, talented guy. Plug a couple guys in the middle, and now you've got a nice offensive lineman. You've got a great quarterback, and you've got an awesome running back behind him. You pick up a wide receiver in free agency, like an Allen Robinson, pair him up with Denzel Mims and Jamison Crowder, and now you're looking at something like significant on the offensive side of the ball. So I think it's that's the way I would do it. Lawrence, offensive line, running back, and just add weapons like crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, he really is. I'm afraid to say this. He looks like Aaron Hernandez a lot. Kind of built the same way. Kind of that wide receiver, tight end hybrid. You know what I mean? But I mean, he is the guy catches everything thrown near him. I mean, watching them guys play. I mean, they're
if he's sitting there at the Patriots pick, he's the Patriots. That's I don't see them passing on top hits if he makes it that far. I've seen him going in the top 10 in some mocks, and I've seen him go into the Patriots a lot at like 16, 17. But yeah, if he's sitting there, I can't see them passing on him. Not the way that they like to run that offense. You can't. So
honestly, even if the Jets with every single pick just drafted the best player available, they'd be fine.
No,
whatever the best player is, yes.
They did that for years, and that's why we had Jamal Adams and Leonard Williams and Quinnen Williams.
Right, but there's so many holes right now. What I mean is, okay, they're going to draft the best quarterback coming out, and then if they get to it and on their board the best linebacker they have available, draft him. I mean, it's not going to hurt them. You know, they have so much money to sign players. That's what they kind of need to do. Sign some known commodities, draft some kids that look like that they're going to be, you know, really good players, and then learn from the people around them, kind of like what Miami did. Yeah. Miami got a very young team, and they brought in some veterans who are helping out.
I think that's I wouldn't be opposed to that either, trading out.
Depends who's there, yeah.
Yeah. That wouldn't be bad, seeing how, depending on how the draft falls. But yeah, dropping out of there, pulling a Patriots move and trading back out of the first into the early second, and then snatching up a couple more players would be awesome. So John, you've got a good fan there from Chris.
Thank you, Chris. I've known Chris since 1996, I believe. So we were both stationed in Japan. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So. Here we go. So I don't fully agree with this comment. As good as Jacksonville, or as Robinson is in Jacksonville, when you look at Saquon, when you look at Adrian Peterson, the quality of running backs that you get at the top, even Zeke, those top guys that are coming out, they're money. Like, well, it's not Zeke this year, I think, because he got his money, so now he's not playing anymore. But I mean, those guys are just outstanding. I mean, yes, you're going to miss, but I mean, Ricky Williams, awesome. Yeah, you're going to miss on a couple guys, but that Travis Etienne,
Christian McCaffrey,
McCaffrey, another top 10 guy. So, you know, with any draft, you're going to hit, you're going to miss.
Oh, Blair Thomas. That's like Kajana Carter for Cincinnati that year, too.
There's so many players that you look back at every draft, and there's players missed in the top 10. It happens all the time. But the Jets need weapons. And if you're going to draft Trevor Lawrence, you've got to give him weapons. You can't have this run-of-the-mill, and especially you can't have Frank Gore running behind him. Like, you've got to have a legit guy back there. You can't have Le'Veon Bell past his prime, because he looks washed up completely. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but let's see. Anything else before we? No,
Pats fans for life. There you go. We drafted the worst player available.
Yep. We can talk about this real quick before we transfer over. You want to do an update?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think this week going into it, I managed to sneak my way into.
I don't know how.
I held on by 20 points to get in, but let's take a look. So it rounded out Wrecking Crew, which is Jim, number one, finishing at 11-3 with a massive 1,710 points. for a man who claims he's never played fantasy football before.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
I'm not buying it. So,
and actually, Jeremy finished, and he just, I think, by points beat my brother this week? Just squeaked out a win to finish where he finished.
Yeah, so he finished 11-3 as well.
That's my boy.
And Bayside Ballers, Dina, who was in here earlier, she came in at 8-6. And then myself coming in at 8-6 as well, just barely edging out my wife at 8-6 by exactly 20 points. So,
the points did matter. Oh, I remember earlier on you said the points don't matter.
No, okay. I told you the points matter for tiebreakers. That's it, and it did. So
let Jen know I was trying to help her out when I beat you this week, even though I finished ninth.
Oh man, yeah. I'm like a 30-point underdog to you, Jim. So this is not going to go well. But all right, so
we got another player right there. He's gonna play next year.
Yep.
So real funny story about fantasy before we finish off with the Giants. So my son Jeremy, who they were just talking about, was playing my brother in our family league. He had Lamar Jackson going into the game, right? Down by like 30 something. So he had to have the best fantasy game ever. Up into the fourth quarter, he gets a cramp. If you guys watch the game, Lamar came out with a minute in the fourth quarter. So he's down. Jeremy's losing to Shaney by 5 points, 4 or 5 points. Yeah. So he comes in the 2 minutes, throws the touchdown, and my son beats him by 10 or something. Like it was just, or I'm sorry, by 5. So I wake up the next morning because I fell asleep with like a couple minutes left. I didn't watch. So I'm texting my brother, and he goes, "Did you see how I fucking lost?" And I looked, and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." So, but hey, I was rooting for my son. It's like I told my brother, I got to go for my son over my brother. But just what a way to lose in fantasy. Just hilarious.
Man, so quickly, this is in one of my other leagues that I'm playing in, I was sitting in fourth place. Winning you're in. I'm playing the 10th place guy. He starts a kicker that's hurt. All right, so I'm like, all right, I got this one. Nope, dude goes off, highest scoring guy of the week. Everybody on his team puts up like almost 30 points. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. I lose by less than 1 point to him. 1 point. Why? Because I had Bass, Buffalo's kicker, who missed that point after in the game, and that cost me the win. But it ended up 5 of us were tied for fourth place. And everything worked perfectly. Third place was tied. He lost, so we stayed tied. Fourth and fifth lost. And then I think fourth, or I lost, fifth lost, sixth lost, seventh lost, but 8 beat them. So they jumped up into third, and I finished in fourth thanks to points. Points do matter in ties. Yes, and that's how it ended up. But I was just like, I lost to the 10th place guy by 1 point, and I'm going to get knocked out. And that game, it just worked out. Like Gus Edwards scored touchdowns and Lamar, and everything just worked out to where the right people lost, and I just snuck in. It was insane. It was like a 5-way tie for fourth place, and I got in. It was the craziest league. It was awesome. But look at this little show off down here. Oh. Well, you're going down next year, Jacob.
Yeah.
Down. There you go.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Calling you out.
Send them the invite.
Yep. We'll be out. We'll publish it again next year, and definitely get you an invite and join in. So, all right. So let's roll into the Giants and close it out with that.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about that game though the other night, that was the ending of that game was incredible to see. I only turned it on at the end when he called him back out of the locker room. Right, he comes out. The guy sprains his knee or whatever. He's on the IR, untouched, and goes down. And then Lamar running out. Right, he could have ran for the first down, and both defenders peel off Hollywood Brown to go after him, and he floats the ball to him. 4th and 5, throws the ball, and he could have threw it away and lost right there. And then to have the safety at the end of the game, just incredible finish. But hopefully the Browns, after that devastating loss, that hangs over them for another week. That's what I'm hoping, right? So, right, Giants get flexed to Sunday night, right? Prime time. Giants 5-8, Cleveland 9-4. Cleveland only has a 53% chance of victory here. They're saying that's what they're predicting, 53%, right? So, it's only 5 points, right? Giants are getting 5, but yeah, I mean, the question for me is, and Jacob mentioned it earlier, I would have sat Jones, right? I wouldn't have started Jones, let McCoy play, and now Jones apparently has another injury. I don't know if you guys heard that, but it's out there now that it looks like he has a sprained ankle now, so he's going to be immobile. So I didn't hear yet who's starting. I have no issue with these things are popping up here with McCoy. Yeah. Okay. He was really high on Jones a couple weeks ago, wasn't he?
Yep. Sure was.
Yeah. So I'm fine with McCoy starting the game and playing the game, really, because like I said, he played great against Seattle. I thought he did what he needed to do. He didn't look uncomfortable. He didn't make mistakes. He didn't put us in harm's way. So Jones is questionable, and I didn't hear yet who is going to start. Maybe they're going to wait and see what's going to happen here, but it's going to depend on which Cleveland team shows up too, right? I mean, there's teams they struggle against. There's teams that they come in and they don't really do much, right? They've had tight games against Cincinnati, against Jacksonville, against Philly, so they don't, and then they have games against Baltimore, who I'm not that high on, right? I mean, whether it was 90 points combined scored in that game, up and down the field, nobody could stop anybody all game. Even at the end, I mean, with the last 2 minutes, there was a couple of different scores up and down the field, like there was no defense on either team. So if the Browns defense is that way, it's going to help McCoy if he is playing, right? Because the rest of the team is going to be in there. The receivers are there. We're targeting Slayton more. So we have to continue to do that. Have to get Ingram involved. Ingram hasn't really been doing anything except helping block for helping the line block the last week or two. I haven't seen many throws to him, many targets, but I think it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, I'm going to take the Giants like I always do. I said they beat both Ohio teams earlier on. It's a must-win game, really, in my mind, because Washington, okay, they're going to Seattle, but Seattle's beatable, right? Giants beat Seattle, and Washington's playing really good. I mean, all of a sudden, Chase Young has turned it on. He woke up mid-season, and now the team's rallying around him. And, he was like a one-man wrecking crew last week. And let's see if he goes up to Seattle, or actually, I think they're playing in Washington. And they're playing at home, and he handles Russell Wilson. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Washington beats Seattle. And here's Seattle, a team that we said all along, Russell's the MVP. They're going to the Super Bowl. I don't know. They look beatable. They don't look like the team that we thought they were early in the season.
Not against the Jets. They didn't look beatable.
Well, I'm talking about the NFL teams. I'm talking about professionals.
Sorry, I thought we were
talking about Yeah, but so I saw there a comment that I was going to bring up there. The Odell Beckham trade is looking even better now, right? So this was going to be Beckham coming back and playing against us, and I have my Beckham jersey upstairs. I never wear it after he lost his mind playing for us. But we got Jabril Peppers out of that trade, picked up Dexter Lawrence, and I mean, what has he really done, right? He's had injuries. He hasn't really been playing. He's out again with the Browns, but he's a head case, right? The guy's a problem. And, where I thought he would have been a Giant for life, I thought he would have played his whole career here. But after seeing him that game against Carolina, and who was it? Josh Norman. Oh, my God. I don't know if you saw that game a couple of years ago. I think the Panthers were undefeated. It was probably week 9 or 10. And he was just throwing his body at Norman over and over again, spearing him. I mean, I don't remember if he got thrown out of that game, but ever since then, I thought this guy's a problem. And then he started headbutting the kicking. What is it? The kicking cage, or what is it?
The net.
The kicking net. Thank you. I couldn't think of that long word, net. Yeah. But he just we got O'Shane as well. That's right. So I mean, it worked out great for us. And what did Cleveland get for him? in that trade. They're on the downside of that. But
Got a nightmare. That's what they
yeah,
got.
got a nightmare. I mean, the guy's a problem, and I don't see him changing. You thought, he was young and he wasn't thinking clearly, and he didn't have maybe a good mentor or whatever. But he hasn't really changed, and he's probably never going to change. So
No,
yeah.
he's a diva.
Yeah, he's a problem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but Cleveland, right? Chubb, Kareem Hunt. I mean, tough runners, tough guys out of the backfield catching the ball. I mean, we'll have our hands full. And the defense has been playing well, not against Arizona last week. I couldn't believe we couldn't get through the line. We couldn't get pressure on Kyler Murray. We couldn't really do much of anything. But hopefully this is a bounce back game here this week. And we hold Cleveland down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I
go.
think you're going to disagree.
I am because of a few things. So first off, I hate Baker Mayfield. Everybody knows this, so I'm going to come up and say this. Yeah. I know it's shocking. I can't stand him. So last week, the Giants gave up 159 yards to Arizona, who's not a running team. Now you have to deal with the two-headed monster in Cleveland, who I think is averaging about 159 yards. And I did look at the Giants' stats. They're like number 7 in rushing D. I think they've given up 101 total all year. So the 159 is quite a bit kind of to their standards. But now they're going against Cleveland, who Mayfield, if you look at Mayfield, I don't think he's averaging 200 yards a game passing. So Mayfield's not going to beat him. It's going to be the running game and their defense. I mean, it has been all year. Yeah, Mayfield puts up some decent stats when it's kind of garbage time. But, I mean, I'm going with their running game. I mean, that running game at Cleveland is insane. Yeah. And, my God, how are you going to stop them? I mean, honestly, how are you going to stop those guys?
Yeah, so averaging 156 yards a game.
Yeah, and that's only with what? God, how many games has Chubb been back for? Chubb's only played in 9 games, and he already has 881 yards rushing. So as a team, they're averaging 4.9 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. So that's where the Giants are going to have to stop him. Make Mayfield beat you, and I think they have a really good chance. You know what I mean? Make him make mistakes. He's going to throw an interception. He always does.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, you saw the pass to Kareem Hunt at the end, right? At the end of that game the other night, I mean, he threw the ball at Kareem out of the backfield, and Kareem dives to the pylon and scores the touchdown and went right down the field. So he did throw the ball there, but no, I agree. I think it's going to be the running game that's going to do it. That's going to be the make or break. Yeah.
Yeah. And just watching the Giants last week, I mean, if it turns into a shootout, can McCoy put 40 up on him? I don't think so. I just don't think so.
No, I think it can't be. It's got to be. It's
probably could.
What's that?
Yeah,
Jones could if he plays well against that defense.
If he even plays,
I don't think
it sounds like he's not. You know, it really does.
Yeah. And so Jim, what do you think about this? I haven't watched enough Giants games to know if this is a joke or.
I'm not going to say he's the only one making plays. I mean, it does seem like. I mean, he did have a nice catch right at the 1 yard line. He was right before the end zone there last week, and yeah, he definitely wants the ball more for whatever reason. Last week we didn't really do anything throwing the ball, right? Targeted Slayton a little bit more, but nobody else. And no, I think Golden Tate is asking for the ball. And he does usually get to the marker, get to the sticks, turn around, and you can hit him and get that first down. So I agree. Yeah, feed him the ball. Give him the ball. Let's see what he could do. Let's move the sticks and get down the field. No, yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't know if I'm okay with Joe Webb starting the game though. I'd rather see Colt McCoy start the game than Joe Webb, but
absolutely.
I know they brought Joe Webb in to take a look at him. So yeah.
I don't know. Well, this game, I think John hit it. I think John hit it dead on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dead on.
Yeah.
So I think again, for the Giants to win, it's got to be low scoring, right? I don't think it's going to be an over game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout game. I think we have to hold them in check and do enough to win the game. and maybe both teams score in the 20s, but it's not going to be a high scoring game in my mind.
Oh, and I think John's got it right though. Like with that rushing game, 156 yards. That's going to be the key. Is they've got to beat that defensive line and tire them out enough that Baker gets some relief. Because the Giants defense, the team just looked weird last week, but overall for the last month plus, the defense has looked good. They've played hard. They've been very energetic all over the field. So if Chubb and Kareem Hunt can hit that line and tire them out into the third quarter and let some stuff open up, let the defense soften up a little bit and get tired, that's going to be hard. That's going to be very hard to stop. Now, if the Giants defense can really lock that run game down, or if they can figure out, because Cleveland's defense, like you said, is not that good. They're giving up 266 yards passing a game, so just about the same as the Giants. But if the Giants offense can get going quick, that's going to be what the difference is. If they could
Make them throw.
if they could make Baker throw, this game is going to be completely different. But I think if that doesn't happen, they're going to be in for a long day. It's just it's going to be bad, and especially seeing how quickly that offense can move and score. Baltimore's defense, they've got some playmakers on that side. They got your defensive rookie of the year there, and Patrick Queen.
Love him.
But the Giants defense has been playing just as well. So I don't know. I think Cleveland's offense is going to be too much for them. I can't believe this game got flexed to Sunday night. I really that is shocking. And I know you love it, and I know you think they're great, but I mean, look at the schedule for this.
What was there already, though? What was the
Dallas?
schedule?
Dallas.
So
nobody's watching the Dallas.
hold
game.
on. Let's see what should have been flexed.
I'll tell you what should have been flexed.
Dallas.
Chiefs and
Oh
Saints.
my God! Yeah, Kansas City and New Orleans.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
No,
I thought it was the Cowboys. They're not going to take out the Chiefs.
That's who
No,
should have
no,
been.
that's who should have been flexed.
Yeah.
Oh, who should have been? Okay.
Right. Seahawks.
This is the game of the week. What are you talking about?
I'd rather watch Seahawks Washington is a better matchup right now.
Oh, but come on, please.
Well, that is kind of surprising they didn't put KC on a Sunday night.
Yes. Yeah. If Drew Brees was in, that game would have got flexed.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Or maybe go like a Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray action. You know what I mean? Hey, let's show these two kind of Oklahoma guys go at it.
I wouldn't be against it if OBJ was playing. I would like to watch that game to see kind of like what he's going to do, if he's going to lose his mind if he doesn't get the ball, if he's going to like run headfirst into the field goal and try and knock it down like a battering ram. You never know with him what he's going to do, but it sucks that we're not going to get to see that. It really does. But so final scores. What are you guys thinking?
So, like I said, I think it's going to be in the 20s. I think if we win, it's going to be, I'll say, 26-24.
Do you think they're going to win?
Yeah, of course I do.
Huh. Do you think with your heart or with your head?
Both.
Wow.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you could bet with your heart and say, I want the Giants to win by this score, and then your head could say, like, realistically, the Browns are going to win 34-28 or something like that.
I mean, so the Browns, maybe it was a get-right game for both teams last week for Ravens and Browns, because both teams went up and down the field scoring like crazy, but they still ended up losing. But the Browns, they're another one of those teams that you just don't know what you have.
Yeah.
Like we talked about the Pats. You don't know which team's going to show up. You don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they're a consistent team, even though they do have playmakers. So they really don't show you a consistent game plan or whatever. So, or execution. So, yeah, no, I think the Giants have the ability to win, and I'm taking the Giants. Yes.
Okay.
You guys can go the other way. That's fine.
I think Jacob's a little crazy with his with his Joe Webb predictions here. Like, I think if Joe Webb gets in this game, he's going to get destroyed. Like, you want Joe Webb to play against the Jets or like Jacksonville, but I think Myles Garrett will just eat him alive if he's in the game. 4 touchdowns for the defense is what's going to happen if Joe Webb ends up in this game. But I don't know what's Chris. What is I don't know what this means.
Where is he? Are we in Japan or something again?
I don't know. That would be awesome if we made it on the air in Japan.
Oh no, I think he meant when somebody walked behind you, Joe. That's what he was kind of making a joke. Yeah, when somebody walked behind you, he typed that. That's why I started laughing.
Gotcha. I didn't see it at the time, but
yeah.
Yep.
So it's small operations. It's kind of like Wayne's World, or just in the basement. I think we're all upstairs,
Yep.
but anyway. So
But she was packing. She was packing her bags.
yeah,
that's what I thought. That's what I seen.
She was actually hiding Christmas presents in the closet.
That's too funny.
Because the kids don't play up in my room, so
never.
It's the best place to hide them.
Right.
So Cleveland, and I'm going to defend Cleveland a little bit here, and it's not because I like them at all, but their 4 losses are both to Baltimore, 1 to Vegas, and 1 to Pittsburgh. So they've beat Tennessee. Let's see some more notable games here. Indy, they beat Indy. They beat Washington, and then they beat Cincy and Houston. So I think they're consistent enough that that they're going to beat the Giants. I think they're going to beat the Giants. I think their running game is just going to run all over them, especially with Chubb back with kind of fresh legs. He's only played in 9 games this year. I see a rather higher scoring game on their end, and probably the Giants playing catch up like a 33-21 type win. I just don't see McCoy putting up the points. I just don't. Maybe a really healthy Danny Dimes, I guess, could probably make this a little bit easier for him, because I think he has a much better arm than Colt McCoy. And he can use his legs, but if he doesn't play, and Jim, I was all for putting him in last week. You're probably right. He probably should have sat. So if he has another ailment now, we know, Jen, we know that comes first. But I would sit Jones. I mean, if he has any more ailments, you need at least a healthy quarterback in there. But I'll tell you what, I mean, that Monday night game was insane. They were going back and forth, and yeah, you can look at the score and say both defenses played terrible, but that's a conference game. That's what I think too. I don't think they'll be able to score enough if McCoy. That's why I think like a 33-21 type game. It's just he's not the quarterback Jones is, especially a healthy Jones.
Sure.
Yeah. And with that, like Cleveland's going to have to play this one hard, right? Because you look at the playoff standings right now: 4, 5, and 6 playoff seeds. Tennessee, Cleveland, and Indy are all sitting at 9 and 4. And then you got Miami on that last seed, 1 game back at 8 and 5. Baltimore at 8 and 5. They can't afford to lose a game.
No,
they really can't. So this is a team that's got to go full bore. They've got to give it their all now, especially with that loss, because they're not sitting in a nice, comfortable 10 wins, which would have probably all but locked up a playoff spot at 10 wins. But now they just have a 1-game lead. So it's tight. And now that they've lost to Baltimore twice, Baltimore's 1 game behind, they lose the tiebreaker. So
right.
This Cleveland team is going to be playing basically playoff football now for the next couple weeks until they lock up a spot, I think. And then on top of it, it's so tight that you've got seeding that you got to worry about too. Like, 1, 2, and 3, 12, 11, 10 for the Chiefs, Steelers, and Bills. Those are probably going to settle in at the top. But then, those lower seeds, you don't want to face the Chiefs. You don't want to be sitting in that 7 seed having to go and play the Steelers. The Chiefs will get the bye, but you don't want to play the Steelers. You don't want to go to Buffalo and play Buffalo.
No.
So you're not going to want to be at the bottom there. You're going to you want to sit at that 4 or 5 spot and not have to deal with that, I think. But
and then the Cleveland coach came out the other day and said, there are no moral victories. We needed to win that game, and we're going to come out and play better. So it sounds like the right type of attitude is there. And then you got the Jets next week. So you know what? If they can win 2 in a row and then they finish out against Pittsburgh, I want to say they're going to be in really, really good shape. Really good shape. Thanks everybody for that too. By the way, it's awesome.
Thank you guys. Thank you. That's going to be something to see is how it plays out. And like we talked about when we opened this, it's going to be huge for the Patriots. It's going to be huge for the Giants. They're must-win games. This is the season. Basically, you lose these games. The Patriots fall to 6-8. Now, with 3 games left, there's not enough. Well, there'd be 2 games left at that point. There's not enough time left to make up that, and that would put the Giants 2 games behind Washington with 2 left, and that would pretty much be over as well. And at 5-8, you're definitely not getting a playoff spot in any form or fashion. So these are must-win games. This is the most important week in football for the Patriots and for the Giants to date, without a doubt. Both of them made massive turnarounds. Patriots came roaring back out of nowhere. The Giants came roaring back out of nowhere. But this is it. This is what it hinges on. If you're a football fan of either one of those teams, this is what you're living for. Is this week? This is make or break, all in. So, but you're going up against 2 teams that are also in the same exact position. The Dolphins have to win out, and Cleveland has to hold on to their playoff spot, especially after getting swept by the Ravens. So if they fall behind, that's it. They're done. So they're going to get knocked out of the playoffs again. So
I don't agree with starting Tate, right?
If your quarterback situation is that bad that you got to start Golden Tate,
what are we, Denver?
Forget about it. Games,
yeah. What, does everybody get COVID?
I don't think so.
So the only chance for the G-Man, what is that?
Would be
that's what I'm looking for right there.
I mean, it could happen. You never know. But the way Stefanski came out and started talking and saying that, you know what, again, no more victories. I mean, honestly, I think if Jones was playing, I think would be talking kind of a different way, especially a healthy Jones, where he gives you that threat to run, just like he said, Shenny said earlier about Lamar giving the Cleveland secondary reason to be worried. Well, Jones would too, and then he could run the ball the same way Lamar did. You know what I mean? I mean, Lamar was running all over them. Why? Because they had to cover the receivers, so that gave him an option to run, and that's what Jones does for that offense when used properly and when he's healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very high in the Giants this year. You remember that, Jim, and I thought they were really, had they not lost Saquon, I think it'd be a totally different situation right now. But also losing Jones for a couple weeks at a time. I'm just not a McCoy fan. I'm not a backup quarterback fan trying to lead you into the playoffs unless your name's Nick Foles.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless your name's Nick Foles, it's not going to happen.
There's a reason you're a backup quarterback and not a starter. It just is.
You're right there. You brought up a good point. I wonder if Saquon played all season, what would our record be?
Oh, it'd be a lot better.
Right. I mean, I had said in the preseason that we would make the playoffs and have a winning record. And if Saquon was in there, the games that were close, I mean, we lost a couple of games by 1, 2, and 3 points, right? And that was without Saquon. So, I can only imagine what, especially if everything else happened the way it did, we would have ran away with the division.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
I mean, you guys would already clinched a spot. You guys already would have won the division, I'm sure.
Yeah,
the way the NFC East is playing.
All of those tight games, he would have. He is talented enough by himself to have taken that team on his shoulders and win those games. And especially you think back to last year, he was catching like 10, 12 passes a game, which is incredible. So you think about the level of talent he has, and the way that the NFC East looks this year, that would have been. Yeah, you guys would have been benching players, resting them for the playoffs already.
That's right.
You would have had the division locked up. So, who
there
besides
you go.
thought McCoy?
Good question.
No one.
Good
no
question.
No one.
It's true. Jim was the only person that was actually crazy and turned out to be right. It's like the guys that are out. It's like all the movies you see. It's like, oh, aliens are real, and then it turns out crazy guy's right.
That was just a spaceship.
I've been telling you guys this whole time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But a broken clock is
Jacob too.
twice a
Jacob.
day. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Broken clock. Yeah.
I don't
Jacob
know.
knew it.
I don't know if Jacob joined us on that show though to claim that. Did he?
Yeah. He's New York Giant. He's a Giant zone.
I know, but was he here for the Seattle prediction? I haven't seen him in a couple shows, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think he missed last week. Yeah, he missed the week.
He might have. So we can't actually verify if he predicted that game or not. So
Yeah, but if you pick the Giants every week to win, can you really say you predicted it? I mean, come on.
That's true.
Go back to the videotape. We'll check.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I picked the Patriots to lose, so I get a little bit of street cred here. But
it's like playing craps and just playing the pass line every time. Or,
yeah, the pass. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Heartache. Oh.
I got it. Oh, I told you how good I am. I told you it was going to hit. Sir, you lost $7,000 trying to win.
You put 50 on red and 50 on black every time.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're bound to be okay for a while.
Yeah. Well, that would be funny.
So, Jacob, I agree with that. Right. I go into any game thinking we could beat them. We play our A game. We could beat any team. Yeah. And I'd love to play. I'd love to play the best teams. I wanted to play Burrow when he was in there. We didn't get to play him. But, yeah, I want to play the best guys and see how we match up. Yeah, I think Judge does a good job of putting us in the best position, like you said earlier. And we have the players. It's just about execution, right? And, you know, I think we could do it. I'd like to see it. So
we'll see. I like how all four of these teams are playing for their playoff lives right now. That's what you want at this point in the season.
No doubt.
See everybody balls out, pushing to the end. You got to love it. So yeah, I think we have gone way over our time. We need to definitely wrap this thing up. So predictions, John, what are you saying?
I'm going to say Cleveland 33, Giants 21 if McCoy plays.
33-21. I'm going to go. I'm going to go traditional Giants here. I'm going to say 28-27 Cleveland.
Wow.
That's the way the Giants lose this game. It's 28-27. So it's going to be a close one, but at the end.
So when I said 26-23 Giants, everyone said, well, McCoy can't score that much, but John thinks 21's achievable. 26 is too high, though. And you think 28. So you went higher than me.
Yeah, well, I think the no
defensive scores. Okay.
No, I'm saying Cleveland wins this game, not the Giants.
So yeah, but 28.
Giants will only score 27.
Oh, that's still higher than my 26.
I know.
I think. Let me get my calculator. Hold on.
Cleveland's defense sucks.
All right, hold on. Common Core math. You are the lowest, actually, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the squares. You have to use the squares.
Okay.
Anyway. All right, so final
Cleveland.
Predictions coming in, 27-17 Cleveland. Jacob, what's your final?
Did he give us the score? I don't think he did.
That happened too long ago. I don't know if
He's going to say like 77-7 or something like that.
Hey, Golden Tate rushes in 13 touchdowns.
He throws for 10 touchdowns.
Sets the season game record with 1,217 yards.
28-14. There you go.
28.
Cleveland. That's a good pick. I'm kidding.
Giants. He's got G-men. G-men all day.
And Chris, 31-21 Browns. Finally.
Nice. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's another one that thinks you and I are very close, Chris. I said 33-21.
I like. All right. Well, we'll see how it plays out. So let's definitely call it a show here, guys. Seriously, thank you so much for the interaction. That was awesome. I mean, we have yet to get a 100 messages today, little thing. So that's outstanding. Thank you for the interaction. Literally, we cannot do this without you guys. So. As always, please jump on YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, jump over there, hit that subscribe button. The more subscribers we get, the more viewers, the more visibility we get, and we can't do this without it. So please jump on, tell all your friends, share this every single time. Make sure everybody's getting eyes on it and help us grow. I think we've got something good here, and if nothing else, it's a lot of fun talking to you guys and having a good time doing it. So please subscribe, set that bell to all, like the page, like the show, and share away. And please just spread the word to everybody. Boston, New York, rivalry epicenter every week. So,
and we'll probably be back Monday night, right? So Sunday night, Giants play late.
Yep.
So everybody can jump back on Monday night and see who came the closest here and how we did. And yeah.
Joe put that up.
I thought, wasn't that the highlight of the show, the Jets segment?
It should be. I mean, every
Right.
I know they're really next year will be so much better if they have Trevor Lawrence. At least we can talk about something other than
imagine watching a movie without any comedic prowess to it. I mean, it's just wouldn't be fun, right? So the Jets are our comedy outtake here. So without it, it would be too serious, and we would just be pushing this thing to the edge. So we need that back and forth and have a little bit of fun.
Wait till the playoffs hit. Who?
Yep, that's going to be good. All right, so for the Jets fans, as always, hang in there. Trevor Lawrence is 3 games away. For the Jets, or for the Giants, for the Patriots, you guys, for the fans out there, enjoy this week. It's going to be, especially for the Patriots, something you guys are not used to, actual really hard games that matter during the season. So totally new realm for the Patriots fans. Giants, wouldn't be surprised at all if they shut Cleveland down to win this game. But it's going to be an absolute battle in both games. And if you're a Jets fan, grab a beer, sit back, and watch the fire burn. So, all right. So until Monday night, we'll see you guys then to recap the outcomes of these games. So best of luck to your teams. If you're in fantasy, best of luck in the first round of the playoffs. And until then, we will see you guys later. Stay safe. Goodbye.
Peace out.